I had returned to my family home in Chicago for Christmas. The neighborhood where we lived was a quiet place where I had spent my childhood years. I had spent peaceful days here since I was little, but this time things were different. It was impossible not to feel it. After having dinner with my family, I went out for some fresh air. It had stopped snowing and the snowflakes were sparkling under the street lamps. A few houses away, I noticed an old house that looked abandoned. As children, we were told not to set foot in that house. We heard scary stories. The house had been empty for years, but this time there was a car in front of it. As I got closer, I realized that someone was watching me from the window of the house. It was just a glimpse, but I was sure I saw someone. I still remember the stories my mother told me about this house when I was a child. I felt nothing but fear. When I told my mother about it, she said someone moved there, but no one talked to him. There's always something strange around. When I heard that, my childhood memories came back. I started to feel scared. I think that house had traumatized me in some way. I went to my room and slept with these thoughts, even though it was difficult. Christmas morning, everyone was opening their presents. I couldn't get myself together. I couldn't stop thinking about the figure I had seen in the night. I couldn't stand it, so I went outside and started walking towards that house. I stopped by Karen, our next-door neighbor, to find out more. She knew everyone's gossip. When Karen opened the door, she started talking before me. The guy who moved into the abandoned house. I don't know, kid. He's got a weird energy. He won't talk to anyone, but I heard yelling coming from his garage late at night last week. When I heard that, it gave me goosebumps. Still, there had to be a logical explanation, right? The man who lived in that house was a stranger, simple as that. But the sense of curiosity in me wouldn't go away. On Christmas night, as my family was getting ready for sleep, I couldn't resist and went out again. It was getting cold, but my curiosity drew me to the old house. The street was completely quiet. No one was outside, everyone was at home. As I approached the house, I noticed that the garage door was ajar. A normal person would have come back, but me? I approached the garage in silence. There was no light inside. There was a strange smell, the smell of something rotten, as if something had been dragged across the floor. I took out my flashlight and shone it into the garage. There was a table there, with rusty tools and a big red sack. My heart started beating fast. A hand was hanging out of the sack. "Hey!" The sound made me jump out of my seat. I turned around and saw the man standing there looking at me, his face pale but strangely angry. "What are you doing here?" he asked, his voice dull and threatening. I couldn't say anything. I stood still. The man took a step. I noticed a heavy iron bar in his hand. In panic, I took a few steps backwards, but my foot slipped and I fell to the ground. At that moment, a voice came from inside the sack. A voice like a whisper. "Help me." The man advanced on me with a terrifying smile on his face. "You will forget what you saw here. I can't let you go anymore." He was trying to hit me with an iron bar. I think his intention was to kill me. I gathered all my strength, stood up, and started running towards the house. He didn't follow me, but I could feel it. That man's eyes were still on me. I told my family what had happened. I was so scared I didn't know what to do. We called the police immediately. I told them everything. The police raided the house, but the garage was completely empty. No sacks, no tools, no men. It was as if what I had seen had never happened. I was about to lose my mind. I was back from the dead. What I was experiencing was real. But now, it was as if those moments of terror had never happened. The garage was clean, and the sack I saw was gone. How could this have happened? That night, I couldn't sleep. I was looking out the window of my room. There was a figure standing in the window of that house. He was looking at me.